Okay, thanks. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Jill Gilardi here for First Alert Weather Extra, where we take a more in-depth look at the forecast for you, spending a lot more time than we can when we are on television. And of course, we have a lot to discuss. We have a front that has moved on through, and it's going to create a much colder feel today. We got some strong wind gusts and a very chilly day on tap for tomorrow. And then we turn our attention to a First Alert Weather Day Thursday for a wintry mess, and then again on Sunday for a wintry mess. Let's show you what we know right now. Again, both storm systems look to bring, at least to part of the state, all types of precipitation. So for Thursday, let's start with that system. All right, so First Alert Futurecast, this is the overnight data. We'll get new data coming in that we'll be sharing with you on the news coming up at noon. So definitely, check back in on Channel 3. And then back here on WFSB Plus at 12:30 on the WAX as well. So we have some snow showers, it looks like, developing on First Alert Futurecast Thursday morning. That's 4 a.m. through about 8 a.m. And then things really start to ramp up with that storm system late morning into the early afternoon. So the blues all snow. You start to see the pink, that's some mixing, and of course the greens rain. Now, as we progress towards 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll start to see a transition over to all rain as temperatures warm at all levels of the atmosphere down towards the shoreline. But where we have, this is called kind of overrunning, where you have warm air aloft but cold air at the surface. And so you can get the precipitation falling into that layer to melt and then refreeze. Now that refreezing process, that depends on the depth of that cold layer. So we could see sleet or freezing rain, and then other locations still seeing snow across the north and northeast corner. But then by 5 o'clock, it's all said and done with. In terms of amounts, according to this model, and we're just showing you the snow, this is what one model is showing, and it has, 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. But some of our other longer range models are coming in heavier with the snow. So where you see that deeper blue, that could be a 3 to 5 inch amount. And then obviously, 1 to 2 inches as you go farther towards the south. So certainly going to be impactful in terms of the snow. And then we'll be monitoring for a brief wintry mix, see if we have any light ice accumulation. That could also be a possibility. Well, snow is certainly not much we've seen this season. We have had 13 inches roughly in the Hartford area. We're 15 inches below. So we could see that number start to go back upwards again. All right, let's talk about the next system for the tail end of the weekend. So the snow looks to break out Saturday night. And the snow will be our precipitation type primarily to start, but as that warmer air starts to move in, first at mid-level, so it starts to cause that snow to melt, it will flip over to either sleet, but a slightly higher chance for freezing rain. That's what the data has been leaning more towards, freezing rain. So that's rain that falls, and then there's that sub-freezing layer right at the surface. So that means a glaze of ice can form. If the layer is deeper at the surface, it has time to refreeze, and it's sleet, and that bounces. Sleet is different in terms of when you're comparing it to hail. They both form completely different ways. So it's sleet. It wouldn't be called hail in this situation. But we don't know right now how long we're going to see that icy threat. It could stay icy inland for the duration of the event, and then stay as rain right along the immediate shoreline. So that's certainly concerning. But by the time we get to the big game, and even well before that, the precipitation's over and done with. So we have time to, clean up and move on and get to our destinations. All right, so again, this is just kind of breaking it down by timestamps, comparing the models, snow initially, changing to a mix. And you see one model has that mix impacting all of our northern counties for a longer duration of time. And again, that could be freezing rain. And then we have that flip to either rain or it's out of here by noon. So it's a short duration event. So just going over the precipitation types, again, I'm a visual learner. I don't know about you, but when we look at the far right-hand side, when the air is cold enough at all levels, it's all snow. So the clouds, the precipitation that originates from the clouds, is always snow. And then as that snow falls into that layer that is above freezing, the snow's going to melt. But if that layer at the surface is deep enough, it could have enough time to freeze back into sleet. Again, sleet's like little pellets of ice that bounce. Then as we take a look at a different situation, which could be more so what we experience on Sunday after the snow, the layer of warming is deeper than that sub-freezing layer at the surface. So you have just enough time that rain, literally rain, falls, and any object that is below freezing, it causes the rain to freeze on contact, creating the glaze. And then if it's above freezing all the way down to the ground, yes, you're going to get all rain in that particular setup. Right now, though, we've had clouds move on out. We're tracking just some, wispy clouds at times. And we're also tracking the winds starting to pick up. Temperatures well above average, like 20 degrees above average, since our normal low is around 19 degrees. That's Windsor Locks, a few scattered clouds and some sunshine mixed in Torrington. We have those higher clouds and more sunshine in New Haven, where it's 41 degrees. So here's a look at the almanac. The normals, again, 19 is the normal low. We're above that, and we're even above the normal high in the morning hours, which is 36 degrees. So yeah, these warm temperatures, if only we didn't have the wind today, because it's creating a colder feel, all because a cold front moved on through. Those lines of equal pressure, you see those little squiggly white lines, when they're closer together, that is a tighter pressure gradient, and that causes the winds to flow at a stronger speed. So we look for that. You notice that little blip of blue to the west at 3 o'clock. Yeah, snow shower or flurry can't be ruled out. But right now, because of that wind, we're dressing for a feel in some spots already down into the 20s. So the feel is going to get worse throughout the day as the wind speeds increase. We're seeing sustained winds at up to 17 miles per hour now in Chester, some gusts in that 20 mile per hour range, but the gusts could exceed even 40 miles per hour this afternoon coming in from the northwest. So we're going to be dressing for that feel early on, the low 30s and some 20s across the hills, but the feel will go down into the 20s for most of us by 2 o'clock today, and then get worse as we settle into the evening hours. A very cold night ahead. As we take a look at First Alert Futurecast, showing some scattered clouds from time to time, and you might get a brief passing the flurry or snow shower. Better chance for that this afternoon across western Connecticut. And then tomorrow we will just have a cold day, so highs in the upper 20s, low 30s. It will flip below average, but pretty much just for one day. So it is cold, it is bright until we get into the evening hours, and that's when the clouds start to move back in, and we'll be watching for our next system to move in the form of snow to start, and then there could be that flip to either freezing rain or sleet, and then maybe ending as rain for some. Better chance for that, of course, down towards the shoreline. And then that system moves on out. The front part of the day is going to be the primary impact time, so mid to late morning hours through the early afternoon, but out of here by the evening. And then we'll see Friday, since the front moved through, more sunshine. We will get up to 41 degrees, but the breeze will make it feel colder. And then we're back down to close to seasonal, if not slightly below normal levels for Saturday. And that colder air will set the stage for perhaps snow to start late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then that flip to a mix. How long we see that wintry mix on Sunday will be critical as to just how bad those travel conditions are going to be. And then a flip to rain, especially down towards the shoreline. So really critical. It gets really tricky when you have different precipitation types. You get different terrain across the state. So yeah, we've got some challenging weather ahead. I'm always up for a challenge. So, we just want folks to be aware. We issue these First Alert Weather Days for you to know that travel is going to be impacted heavily for the front part of the day on Thursday and on Sunday. Now, for the big game, if you have plans, I wouldn't panic and, cancel them, because a lot of that precipitation is done by, noon, 1 o'clock. So as long as that doesn't change, we're looking good. You have time to kind of clean up after all that wintry mess comes down. And for some of you, it just flips to rain, especially down towards the shoreline, so less of a worry there. But we'll keep you updated as we get closer, we get more information, we can fine-tune the forecast. And just so you know, a lot of these storm systems don't develop until the day of. So we make last-minute changes because, once that system develops, well, the data's potentially going to change. So please, check back in with us all the way up through the day of the event, because there's always some subtle change. As you have seen those forecasts of snowfall, there's always adjustments made last minute. So yeah, definitely please keep checking back in. That's just the way it goes with weather. You take the current state of the atmosphere and you extrapolate it out with these computer models, but if the current state of the atmosphere changes, well, then that model could change as well. So just giving you a little insight as to, what goes into the forecasting. We're taking it, with every little step we get, every little new piece of information. We will have probably a snowfall forecast map put out later on today for Thursday. And of course, if there's any wintry precipitation, we will put that kind of forecast out, whether it's sleet or freezing rain. But definitely keep checking back with us. We have impactful weather expected, First Alert weather days for Thursday, the front part of Thursday, and the front part of Sunday, and even starting on Saturday night. So that is your latest First Alert Weather Extra. Remember, we're back on at 9:30 again tonight, and I'm sure Mike will have a lot more information to share with you coming up again this evening, 9:30 right here. Have a great rest of your day. We'll keep you updated on those two storm systems.